When you get started. Oh, there it is. Uh,
Good evening, Dr. Blessman. How are you?
oh man, I am super fantastic.
Awesome.
I'm
Awesome.
good. Um, you know, I did my breathing exercises today. So
Oh, wonderful, wonderful, Doc. I know you did good. I know you did good.
you know, so I'm under a great deal of stress. I won't get into what's going on, but it's like, okay, let me get back on it. Let me stay on
That's
it.
right. That's right.
Okay,
Stay on it.
stay on it. Um, so we're gonna do things a little bit differently tonight. I'm going to let Dr. Hapi introduce our guests, and we'll take it from there, and we'll take it from there. Okay. So,
Okay.
Dr. Hapi, I'm rolling it over to you, throwing it over to you.
All right. Okay. Thank you, Dr. Blessman.
You're welcome.
So this evening, I wanted to further advance our understanding on how do we stay healthy. And in our last conversation, we were going over what could help to cause the brain to get Alzheimer's.
Great.
And we were going over mold. We were talking about mold. I hope everybody remembered the extensive conversation and how mold is everywhere and how we would not know we have mold. That's part of the problem. There isn't, usually with carbon monoxide and those types of chemicals in the air, they have technologies that can pre-warn you. But with mold, it's very hard to know unless you see the mold. But a lot of times you cannot see it. You can't smell it. You don't even know it has attacked you. And when you are sick, you might think it's just because you might have a cold or something like that. When you get Alzheimer's, you might not be able to relate it to anything. You might say, well, I don't know where it came from. They are talking about that it's coming also from a third type of diabetes that they're calling this Alzheimer's the third diabetes, which means it could come from a lot of carbs also. But we're looking at chemicals in the environment. We're looking at mold in the environment. And so because I've had some patients that had mold and I had patients that died from the mold, I saw where it can attack your heart, where you're thinking you're just having a heart attack, but the mold caused a heart attack. It caused a stress on your breathing and killed you. And so I was informed by a patient of mine he was dealing with some technology because I was concerned about people coming into my office getting COVID and getting exposed to microbes. And so I take on these stringent protocols to protect my patients and everything. And I said, but I need to have more to protect my patients. And so one of my patients brought me the technology. And so now we have that technology in our office to protect ourselves. And we also have it in our living space on all of our floors. And so you can tell the difference when this technology is applied. Your inside air feel like you're outside. It feels like you're outside. And my wife, she was very sensitive to mold. And since we've had this technology, she can go in that room and not get a reaction from the mold, like in the closet, what have you. So anyway, we have a guest. We had two guests that were going to come on today. We have the brother who had turned me on to it, but then he had got in touch with the vice president of the company. So you all are in for a treat. The vice president of the company, his name is Mike Jackson, and he's going to give you a thorough explanation of this technology that is the only technology recognized by NASA. This is the only technology that they use in outer space, and this technology, because it makes the air so pristine, you can grow vegetables in outer space. So without further ado, I'm going to bring him on. But I also wanted him to touch bases with one of the things we're looking at is we are also not just looking at mold, we're looking at chemicals in the air, because there's something else that's happening, and that is people getting these allergies. These allergies are coming because our immune system is getting so weak that we're getting bombarded with allergies from chemicals, and chemicals is all in our environment. We buy a lot of products that have chemicals in it that weaken our immune system further. So I did want him to touch bases on that, also dealing with cleaning your clothes and stuff like that. It's a unbelievable technology that who would know that they have technologies where you wouldn't even have to use these chemicals of detergents and stuff like that. But anyway, I'm going to let him talk about how this technology can help prevent the mold and all of that, and just the overall background of this technology and where we have to go as a society, particularly those of us who are thriving to be healthy, which I know all of you all are. So his name is Mike Jackson. And if Dr. Blessman, you can bring him in and share the screen with him, he's going to share with all of us this technology and how we can utilize it so that we can have safe environments and hopefully prevent getting the mold and getting the Alzheimer's, because African American women are the #1 population that's getting the Alzheimer's. So there's a great concern here. So without further ado, I'm going to let you share the screen with
Can he share?
Mike Jackson.
Michelle?
Yeah, Dr. Blessing, if you can make me a co-host, then I can share my screen.
Oh, you can share your screen, Doctor.
Can I?
Oh, yes. I don't have it blocked where you can't share. You can share your screen.
Okay, well, let me give that a try. There we go. Thank you.
You're
Hello,
welcome.
everybody. My name is Michael Jackson, and I'm so glad to be with you today. Thanks for letting me come into this important meeting today. I've been in the environmental business for over 4 decades. I started my business with $25 I loaned from my wife from grocery money, and grew that business to 3.5 billion in sales with 1,100 full-time employees. We are a international company. I sold my company, folks, about a dozen years ago to this gentleman, Mr. Joe Urso, and I stayed on as the national trainer. So I'm the founder of the company and the national trainer. And I'm honored to be with you tonight to talk about indoor environments, environmental illness, mold specifically, along with other things. So we're a company that when the pandemic hit, the world kind of found out about us. I opened up 250,000 classrooms last year, public schools all across the country with our Active Pur technology. Indoor environments are not limited to our homes. It's our schools, our churches, our businesses. Anywhere we are confined in indoor environments, there are some challenges, but they can be met, and we can solve these issues very, very effectively. We have seen over the last 20 years or so a change in the world. We now have these things called pandemics. This year, about 35 million birds have been put down, chickens and turkeys, because of things like avian bird flu. Indoor environments that are tested, 100%, we find mold and mycotoxins. Mycotoxins are the dangerous part of mold. We'll talk about in just a little bit. My staff, my team, is made up of highly competent scientists and leaders. Dr. Deborah Birx has worked for 3 U.S. presidents, oversaw Ebola, AIDS, and was overseeing the COVID-19 virus. We have seen what these things can do, and so I'm not going to belabor the point. You guys kind of know where we are. But indoor air is a major issue. Asthma is triggered by mold and mycotoxins. It's the #1 trigger of asthma attacks. You've mentioned Alzheimer's, the very serious issues. We do not want to get mycotoxins down into our lungs because they go from our deep lungs into our blood system, into the cells of our body. And there's all kinds of issues. My brother had $1 million home in Minnesota that he had to move out because they found mold in the walls from improperly installed windows. But mold is a serious issue, and we can eliminate and inactivate 100% of mold and mycotoxins with the technology that I'm going to share with you. Years ago, we used to ride around on horse and buggies, but that was replaced with new technology, correct? Automobiles. In the old days, we would go to the photomat and get our film developed. Now we use our telephones and other types of digital electronics. Our company has replaced old-fashioned air cleaning technology with something called Active Pur. It was mentioned by Dr. Hapi that, I hope I said that correct, sir.
Hapi.
Hapi, thank you, Dr. Hapi. With a technology that was invented originally with the University of Wisconsin and NASA for the International Space Station. An interesting science subject that you can share with your children or grandchildren is that on the International Space Station, when a scientist sneezes or uses the restroom, 100% of the surfaces of the International Space Station become infected because of the vacuum, because of the way the International Space Station works. They needed a technology that did not require that mold or mycotoxins or viruses or bacteria be drawn to a device. Instead, they needed a technology that would go out into the International Space Station. I want you to think of your homes and your offices like the International Space Station. We want a technology that will go out and find the mold, go out and find the mycotoxins, go out and find the DNA and RNA viruses, and inactivate those things at the source. This technology is worldwide patented by our company. It's a process that was developed by NASA, and today it's the only technology that can actually go out and find the contaminants and inactivate them. Our company took this technology and perfected it and advanced it and patented it, and we were honored, as Dr. Hapi mentioned earlier, we were honored to be inducted into the Space Technology Hall of Fame. We were inducted with eye LASIK surgery, GPS, and satellite TV, and have been called one of the 7 most important inventions from space to be used here on Earth. So let's jump into it. I'm going to share with you, ladies and gentlemen, a short video, a couple of minutes long. I want you to pay close attention to how this technology goes out and finds the contaminants, and then we'll talk about it. So hang on here. I'm going to play the video.
COVID-19 wasn't the first pandemic in our lifetimes, and unfortunately, it probably won't be the last. More than ever, we need access to pure indoor air. However, most buildings are designed to be as airtight as possible, trapping us with pathogens, gases, and other contaminants. It's time for a fast-acting solution, a solution that has proven itself in the lab and in the home. Meet Active Pur. Active Pur technology is used daily by offices, hospitals, homes, schools, sports arenas, eateries, theaters, government buildings, and many other venues across the globe. The Active Pur system has its origins in the U.S. space program. It has even been inducted into the Space Technology Hall of Fame. So, how does it work? When sunlight hits water vapor, it produces reactive oxygen-based molecules which scrub away pathogens and pollution in the atmosphere.
Now I'm going to stop for just a moment because it was mentioned earlier that when you walk in an indoor environment where Active Pur is running, it's like walking outdoors. This part of the video shows how nature cleans air outdoors. We've duplicated that process for use indoors. So let's continue on.
Active Pur technology brings this outdoor cleaning process indoors, sending the same air scrubbing particles throughout the room. These particles bind with many viruses, bacteria, mold spores, and harmful gases, neutralizing them at the molecular level. Active Pur technology works 24/7 in the air and on surfaces. It comes in both portable and built-in units for any indoor space, from expansive ballrooms to elevators. It's affordable, easy to install, and virtually maintenance-free. Sounds too good to be true? Unaffiliated lab testing has shown that within minutes, Active Pur technology neutralizes more than 99.9% of many common pathogens, including the virus that causes COVID-19. In fact, the Active Pur Medical Guardian has been cleared as a Class 2 medical device. There are many air purification systems out there, but there's only one Active Pur. Other systems, such as HEPA, activated carbon, and UV light, are passive, waiting for pathogens to come to them. Active Pur technology is proactive, neutralizing many contaminants before they even reach the Active Pur unit. In other words, Active Pur technology cleans indoor air and surfaces with an unbeatable combination of speed, science, and proven success. Insist on peace of mind for you, your family, and your customers. Insist on Active Pur technology. Active Pur, air you can trust.
Wow.
Okay, let's talk about mold specifically for a minute. The Petri dish that you see was actually a test that was done in my father's bedroom. My father was getting 5 to 6 asthma attacks every day using an inhaler. We tested his master bedroom, and the dish that you can see on the left was from his master bedroom. It was filled with mycotoxins from mold spores. Okay, we took Active Pur and put it in his bedroom for 8 hours. Then we ran a new dish. The dish on the right is after Active Pur. The dish on the left is before Active Pur. Incidentally, after we did this, my father never used an inhaler again until he passed away 19 years later. So this is a serious issue. We spend, ladies and gentlemen, 90% of our time indoors. I don't care if you live in Hawaii or you live in Chicago. 90% of our time is spent indoors. So we're breathing 20,000 breaths a day, 720 breaths an hour. And when we're breathing into our lungs, mycotoxins, mold, bacteria, DNA viruses, RNA viruses, that is an environmental situation that's unacceptable. Now, 100 years ago, we spent most of our time outdoors. Our bodies were designed to be outdoor creatures, to breathe fresh air. So I hope you're kind of getting the picture here. We can make indoor environments like outdoor fresh air. Active Pur mixes oxygen, sunlight rays, and moisture and creates those purifying molecules. They're as safe as a thunderstorm, safe as a rainbow, safe as a waterfall, but extremely effective in making our indoor air clean. Here's a little quick tidbit that you didn't know. Because Active Pur is active, It goes out and disinfects railings and tabletops and doorknobs and anywhere people touch, because nosocomial infections come when a sick person touches a surface and then a well person touches that same surface. So we have a double benefit. We're not only sanitizing the air, but we're also sanitizing the surfaces. Now, these are some of our delivery devices. We have 70 different devices that deliver Active Pur. The little one that you see is for your automobile. One of the reasons, Dr. Blessing, is it Blessman or Blessing? I'm sorry.
Bless man, like bless you,
Man.
but bless
I
man.
don't know anybody yet, so I'm just learning everybody here.
That's
Dr.
right.
Blessman, one of the things I love about this machine is I can take it in my automobile. It goes for 8 hours on batteries when I unplug it in my car, and I can take it into Applebee's. I can take it into a restaurant and set it on my counter at where I'm eating, and it creates like a force field around my eating area, protecting me. We also have units that cover 2,000 square feet, 3,500 square feet, and as the video said, extremely effective in eliminating these issues. What I would like to do at this point is get into some discussion, answer questions, and concerns that might be out there. So I'm talking to a lot of doctors tonight, a lot of different people. If you guys got some questions, just go ahead and shoot them out to me.
Can you explain the technology that how it does what it does? I mean,
you bet I can. So the technology create, outdoors, when sunshine hits moisture in the air, okay, and oxygen, it creates these very powerful molecules that clean air. Okay, we have duplicated that process. We use a 254 nanometer UV light combined with precious metals like rhodium, titanium dioxide, silver. Some of those ingredients cost over $2,000 an ounce. Okay, well, when that powerful energy hits those rare metals, it creates these oxidizers. So Dr. Blessman, they go out into the environment and everything they touch, the air and surfaces, they disinfect. Now the science is the proof in the pudding. Let me give you some quick science. The Cleveland Clinic, arguably one of the top hospital chains in the world, now has installed these technologies in their operating rooms. When they did, they lowered nosocomial infections like MRSA and C. diff to virtually zero. A big hospital chain in Louisiana just went from 427 MRSA infections last year to zero this year after Active Pur was installed. Now, I know, Dr. Blessman, we're not talking about hospitals here, but if it's that effective in an operating room, if it's that effective in 250,000 schoolrooms, imagine how effective it can be in your area, in your homes, in your offices. So we have tons of science, FDA cleared to be used in hospitals, doctor.
Okay. I don't want to take.
We have about the technology.
So it is this process of these rare metals. Let me see if I heard you correctly. These rare metals. How does it go out into the air? I mean, is it? I mean, I still didn't get that part. I mean, I got that.
Let me give you a good analogy.
Okay.
When you cook popcorn in a microwave, how fast do you smell it in the rest of the house?
Oh, quick, like
instantly, right? Okay, our technology works that same way. It moves through the air, these molecules, and when a DNA virus or an RNA virus, here's exactly how it works. Viruses are hidden inside a cocoon. They're hidden inside a shell. Our technology penetrates that cell and it inactivates the virus literally in a 2,000 square foot house in 60 seconds to 99.96%. So it's virtually to the point where you can no longer identify the virus. Mold, I have about a 300,000 square foot building in Tennessee. We were letting that building sit over the summer, and somebody turned off the air conditioning, and the whole building got filled with mold. There was literally growing on the walls. We took Active Pur and turned it on inside the building, and in less than a day, the mold began to die and become inactivated. And in a few days, it was 100% gone. So this technology is very effective in getting rid of mold, bacteria, mycotoxins, mold. And one of the side benefits is odors that you don't want. It gets rid of bad smells too. So it's a multifaceted technology. How about animals? Has anybody got a cat? Anybody got a dog? Okay.
Got a dog. Okay.
This technology is really effective in destroying kennel cough, parvovirus, feline leukemia, the things that are environmental that animals get, and at the same time gets rid of animal smells. You love your pets, but you might not love the smell, you know? So a lot of benefits from this technology.
Okay. So the house units or the car units, how many, like if you have a 3,000 square foot home, what would be the cost for a unit to sanitize the surface of and the air for a house of about that size?
So our units go from around $300 up to $1,500. The 3,500 square foot unit sells for $3,500. The 2,000 square foot unit sells for $14.99 normally. We have a special program going on right now for $7.99. And then the unit for automobiles and for like for the restaurant or for a hotel room, they sell for around $300.
Okay. So, okay. I want to let other people ask questions. I don't want to be the only one asking questions, y'all. Oh, is there research available online that shows that this the efficacy of this product?
Absolutely.
Okay.
In fact, if you guys give me just a second,
Can you put it in the chat?
I'm going to call up a different PowerPoint, and I'm going to show you a couple of studies really quick. Hang on a second here. Okay, hang on a second. Thank you. Can you see my screen or no?
No, we still see you.
No.
Okay, let me see what I got to do here to share my screen again.
Doctor, do you see that box that's has an arrow up?
You talking to me or you talking to Mr.?
Oh, Mr. Jackson. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I just had to get a different PowerPoint up there. So let me
there you go.
drop down here. I'm going to drop down and share some of the science that was just asked about. First, this isn't actually a scientific document, but I want to show you something. You see those three boxes? Okay.
Yes.
The one on the left, look at the formaldehyde and the volatile organic chemicals. That was done before Active Pur. Okay. Then the middle screen was after Active Pur was running for an hour. See the difference? The far right screen is after Active Pur was running for 2 hours. Can you see the drop in the formaldehyde and the drop in the volatile organic chemicals? Okay, that's what it's going to do in your house. Or your businesses or your offices or your churches. It's going to drop those things right down. Okay, now this is a study that was done in a large school. And we actually, I don't know if you all are familiar with MERV 14 air filters. That's what people,
yes.
Okay, so the MERV 14 filters are very restrictive. and they cause your electric bill to go way up, and they cause your air conditioning units to fail eventually because of the extra restriction. So we took the MERV 14 filters out and put a way lesser filter in a MERV 8. Then we added Active Pur. Look at the results. 73 to 79% reduction in colony forming units of bacteria with less filters with Active Pur added in. Okay. This is a study done on absenteeism. Does anybody want their kids coming home from school sick? Of course
Right.
not. Okay. He reduced absenteeism by 53% in schools across America by adding Active Pur. Okay. Here's the study on hospitals. 427 infections for MRSA, down to 1 after Active Pur was installed. So the technology, I can give you as much science as you want. We've got a New York phone book full of science, case studies, university studies, and so forth.
Okay. We're getting some questions in the chat. Let's see where we're going. Is this a publicly traded company? That was my question. Volara? Is it Volara? Or is it Active Pur?
Active Pur is the name of the company. Volara is our marketing company. Somebody asked about a class action lawsuit. I have no idea what that is. There is no class action lawsuit with my company in any way, shape, or form.
So, Mr. Jackson, my name is Christy Watson, and I have a question for you. If the science is as efficient as you're saying, how many large hospital systems in the United States, especially the large school hospitals, the training hospitals, have invested into your technology?
So we began working with hospitals about 2 years ago. And hospitals, as you're probably aware, Christy, have lots and lots of vetting that has to be done. We started with the Cleveland Clinic, the heart hospital, and that was a 3-year study that's just being completed. We opened up 6 or 7 hospitals in the last year, okay? But that's not our main business. Our main business is homes. We've opened up over 500 churches. We opened up a church in Tampa called the River Church. The pastor got arrested because he wouldn't close the church during COVID. We installed Active Pur 19 units throughout the church. The government officials came out, looked at the technology, looked at the science, and said, hey, your people are safe with this technology, and they left them alone. Today, we've opened up over 500 churches. I don't know what that means about a lawsuit. I saw somebody pop up and said, what was the class action lawsuit? I have no idea. Trust me, I would know if there was a class action lawsuit against my company.
Mr. Jackson, we have a hand up. Eddie, go ahead with your question.
Hi, Eddie.
Hi, Mr. Jackson. Thank you for joining us today and sharing your information. Quick question. What parts must be replaced in your units, including the metals, UV lights, batteries?
That's a really good question, Eddie. Thank you. The technology is filterless technology. Remember that cell that I showed you? And I said that that was the proprietary and patented technology. That's replaced annually, Eddie. It's going to cost right around $125 to maintain a machine like brand new for life. A little digital readout tells you that it's time to change your cell, just like it's time to change your oil on your car. And that's the only part, Eddie, that needs to be replaced annually.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Okay. And somebody asked, what size machine for a medium-sized bedroom? So
our technology works throughout the entire home. just like the popcorn smell we talked about, how it moves into the bedroom, it moves upstairs, it moves downstairs. But I usually recommend the Air and Surface Pro, which is designed for around 2,000 square feet. If you got a bigger home, we've got the 3,500 square foot unit. Lots of times, whoever asked that question, people will actually pick up the machine and bring it into the bedroom. And let me tell you why. Dust mites are a major issue. Dust mites are a major trigger of asthmatic impacts, okay? And so you can actually take this technology and set it on your bed. What people do is they make like a tent with their blankets and sheets, and they let the technology penetrate their mattress. And that gets rid of the food that dust mites eat. I forget the exact number, but there's something like 300,000 dust mites in 1 ounce of house dust. House dust is made up of dead skin, cells, animal dander, and that's what dust mites eat. So you can go into a bedroom and do a super sanitize of the bedroom and the mattress. But normally what people do is they run the technology 24 hours a day, 7 days a week in the main area of the house. If you get it near a cold air return, it'll actually move the technology throughout the house very nicely.
Okay, so even with the doors even with the doors closed in the room, because how does it work if you have?
It goes through the cold air return, okay,
Okay.
and it moves throughout the entire house. But if
Gotcha.
you want to pick the unit up and bring it in a bathroom and do a deep sanitize of a bathroom, do a deep sanitize of a bedroom, that's perfectly normal. People do it all the time. I own classic car stores as a side hobby, and we get through automobiles sometime that have a lot of mold in them. They smell mold. You get them and they just smell like mold. We will put units in an automobile, an old classic 57 Chevy or 63 Corvette or whatever, and we'll sanitize that automobile, turn the air conditioning on and run it. It goes through all the lines and cleans up the car and makes it smell brand new again.
Wow. Okay.
So, ladies and gentlemen, I have another Zoom coming up. I do about anywhere from 50 to 75 of these every week. I've done them. The Philadelphia school system put over $25 million of this technology in their school system. The San Antonio school system put in, I believe, 3,700 units. In your neck of the woods, the East Aurora school system installed the technology in 19 schools in the East Aurora school system in the Chicago area. So we're doing a good job helping kids stay healthy, helping kids stay in school, opening up churches, opening up businesses. Washington State bought 2,000 of our units and put them in restaurants and government buildings, and we'd love to put them into your buildings too. So, Dr. Hapi, we thank you very much for helping me get with these fine folks. Do you have any questions, Doctor?
Question, Dr. Hapi.
Well,
How do we purchase these?
yes, Dr. Miller.
How do we purchase them? Where do we go?
Well, you can get with me. You can get with me. I'm connected with Brother Daniel. So when you're ready, you just get in touch with me. We talk to the other people in the group. They can get with me. We can ship it out to them.
Daniel actually fell down and broke his arm or shoulder. He had a low blood sugar issue and he passed out and fell down a couple days ago, and he's actually in the hospital. That's why he's not here today. But he's a good friend and a good leader in our company.
Okay. And I did have a question.
There was more. No, go ahead, Doc.
Is this a publicly traded company?
No, go ahead.
Is this a publicly traded company?
We're a privately held company. I
Okay.
started it in my basement apartment.
Gotcha.
We grew it and moved the company to Tennessee, and
Mm-hmm.
we moved about 500 employees from Minnesota to Tennessee, and then about 600 more down there. So I've been a Southerner for a while, although today I'm actually in Wisconsin.
Okay.
What part
And
of
again,
Tennessee, what part of Tennessee you in?
Greenville, Tennessee, which is in between Knoxville, kind of near Asheville, North Carolina, in that beautiful part of the world.
Oh, yeah, it's nice there.
I actually have a Christian retreat there called Elijah's Harbor Christian Retreat. It's a
Ooh.
22,000 square foot mansion, 5 guest homes on 250 acres of land in the mountains, and we get over 4,000 pastors and missionaries there every year.
Mm,
all right.
wow.
Wow. Nice. Really.
You
Okay.
guys are awesome. Thanks for letting me come into your meeting. I know you have other business to take care of. Dr. Hapi, thank you so much. We
Thank
appreciate
you.
to know you guys.
Thank
Okay?
you. I appreciate you. I appreciate you.
I hope I covered
Very
what
much.
you wanted, Doc. Thank you so much.
Well, we'll have to have you back because it wasn't everything I wanted, but it was
I'll
enough.
come again.
That was a teaser.
I'll come down
Yeah,
if you
that was a teaser, Mike.
feed me some Chicago pizza and I'll come to Chicago, okay?
Okay,
Ooh,
we'll do
all right.
that.
See you guys later. Bye-bye.
Take care.
Take care.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Okay. Dr.
All
Hapi?
right.
Okay.
Yes. So
Okay.
I wanted to share this information with you all, but I really wanted to go further because we have this concern. This concern is the environment has become toxic. And it hasn't become toxic just from the bacteria and the viruses, it's toxic from the chemicals. So you have chemicals that can cause neurotoxins, and then you have the microbes that can cause neurotoxins. And so I wanted him to elaborate on some other technology, which he did not, that was dealing with chemicals. So what we're seeing that allergies are getting stronger. There are more people getting allergies. And these allergies is because the people's immune systems are weakening. And they're weakening because we have so many chemicals in the environment and in the food and in our water and in our air. And then we have all these microbes. So I wanted to stress that we really have to become more scientific. We have to move into new technologies. We have to move into the 22nd century of protecting ourselves, our families, and ourselves, because what we're seeing is that the microbes are becoming super microbes. That's what pandemics are. Those are microbes that got out of hand. They didn't have medication to reel those microbes in. Now it's a pandemic. Now they have to play catch up. So that's what we're going to be seeing, more catching up happening because they're not coming up with super antibiotics, and they're not keeping up with people's immune system staying strong enough. Well, how do we know that? Because we saw COVID. We saw all these elders in the nursing home, but it wasn't just the elders in the nursing home. It was younger people dying. And so we have to take a proactive approach to this. Well, how do we do that? Well, we have to do it individually at first. And so, like in the last 2 years since we got the COVID, I've had to treat patients with COVID. And so I had to have my immune system strong because otherwise I would have got the COVID and one of my friends, it just killed him. He lived right across the alley here. He got the long COVID, but he was dead a year later because some friends was invited to his house and they brought the COVID to him. So how do you know who has the COVID? How do we know? They say, oh, we're all safe. We are not safe. We are not safe because COVID is still running amok. The the variations are just changing. They're morphing. They're morphing quicker as these microbes get more deadly. They morph it. They morph quicker. And so by the time you got a vaccination for one, it is morphed into something else. You get a vaccination for that, it's morphed into for something else. And that's what we're seeing with this particular pandemic. So I want to have, if there were any questions, because I know he kind of like ran off after he answered some questions and gave, that was really a brief presentation. I was thinking it was going to be more elaborate.
Mm.
I'm back anyway. But anyway, were there some other questions? Because I want to go further into this thing with this mold. If there's no questions.
So Dr. Happy,
Yes, Christine.
what other technologies, other than our air purifiers, our air tamers, and this new one you just introduced to us, are there for people that have a lot of allergies out there? I am one of those people. That's why I have air purifiers all over my home. I don't allow everybody in my home because I don't know what everybody has, and my dad has 2 system failures. So what other technologies are you aware of that we may not be aware of?
Well, here's the thing. We have to look at not just technologies. We have to look at we have to look at chemistry. We have to look at chemistry. So there was a doctor, his name is Dr. Lawrence, and he was a immunologist. And he was in New York. He was in New York. So this Dr. Lawrence, who was in New York, he started researching things like AIDS and cancer and different things like that. And the immune system, and this was in 1949. So what happened is he found out that he found out that the immune system, there are molecules that could affect the immune system. And he started looking at the baby. He said, the baby, when the baby drinks mother's milk, the baby's immune system is strengthened. Now, what did we notice with the COVID? We noticed the babies weren't getting vaccination. Even today, they're not talking about babies getting vaccinations. So the baby's immune system is stronger. And so there's a molecule that the babies, that the mother produces in the milk. And this molecule is called the X factor. And so this doctor, he started looking at this X factor. And he started doing the research on the X factor being the factor that would strengthen your immune system, so that it would be harder for you to get sick, even from the allergies, from the viruses and stuff like that. And so what happened is that this particular doctor, Dr. Lawrence, being a clinical immunologist, he was the one that came up with the research, and he discovered the molecule. He discovered this molecule. So you say, well, this particular molecule, when he discovered it, how did he discover it? Well, they were doing research on animals. If you know anything about how nutrition comes into the human cycle, it comes from them studying animals, because the animals, they don't have insurance. They don't have insurance on animals, so they got to keep the animals well. So the animals were getting sick, and so they found out that there was this molecule, and this molecule was produced in the mucous membranes, this molecule, and that this particular molecule, that if you could identify it, it would strengthen the immune system. So when this research came along, he identified the molecule, and there was a company called Nature's Sunshine. Some of you all might have heard of this company. Any of you all heard of this company called Nature's Sunshine?
No, I haven't.
I have.
Okay.
It's a
I
vitamin.
have also.
Okay.
Yes.
So this company called Nature's Sunshine, it was like, what it did is it sold its the owner sold the company, and they went into a new company, and the new company was called the Transfer Factor. They went into the new company, and this new company started working with their biochemist, who was working with this Dr. Lawrence, and they started bringing this particular technology into the American scene. So this particular technology, I was using it for people who was having AIDS. I was sending it to Africa, and it was affecting people who had AIDS. It was strengthening their immune systems. And this particular technology, they call it the transfer factor. So I was using it for my patients who were sicker, and what it would do, it would strengthen the immune system. I was using it for patients who had pneumonia and who had COVID, who had the flus. I was using it, and I was using another technology from a doctor who was in. He was like in Utah. He was in this area, and there was another doctor. He was in the Dakotas, and this particular research came from these Indians. This is when we had the Black Plague. When the Black Plague came, the Indians weren't getting sick. So this doctor, his friend, had got pneumonia, and he went up into the hills where the Indians were, and they showed him this herb that would kill pneumonia. It would kill the virus of the pneumonia. And so these are protocols that I have been using with my patients and helping their immune systems get stronger, helping to protect them from the microbes so that they would have a greater chance of being healthier. So these are some of the ways that we can affect the alert reactions that our body is getting, new deficiencies that we're having, the immunodeficiencies that we're getting. We must strengthen the immune system. So on the one level, we must be strengthening the immune system so that our IgE and those in the cellular level, where we don't get the allergic reactions that we be getting. We have to strengthen the immune system so that our bodies are working higher, where there's less sensitivity to these microbes, because there's going to be more of them, because we have a toxic environment outside that's allowing the microbes to proliferate, and we're having a toxic environment on the inside because we're breathing all the bad air, and people are coming into our environments and they're coughing the microbes in our environment. And so we're in danger inside, and we're endangered outside. But if we're strengthening ourselves inside from the nutrients to strengthen our immune system, and we're strengthening ourselves from the outside, and then we have a greater chance to not be affected by these microbes that weaken the immune system and cause all the reactions. So did that kind of answer your question? I know I kind of went on a little bit there.
It did. Thank you.
You're welcome. So this doctor, he was treating cancer and he was treating AIDS with this protocol. And this protocol is called the transfer factor. That's what it's called. And the transfer factor plus, there's a vast amount of knowledge of this because the people who created the Nature's Sunshine company, they had produced X amount of vitamins and minerals, and they sold that company for $46 million so that they could go into this technology dealing with strengthening up the immune system. So they have all types of articles on research around the world. They have protocols in Russia and in other countries utilizing this protocol. So the name of the company is called For Life. Number 4, For Life. That's the name of the company. And they've been out over maybe, at least I've been dealing with them over 10 years myself. So these different companies that we don't know about, they're doing some extraordinary type of benefits for our health. Just like there's another company that's dealing with diabetes it's called Rejuvezen. Rejuvezen is a company that's helping with the diabetes by bringing your systems up, whereby your numbers can come down and all the side effects that come from diabetes can be eliminated. So,
Can you,
so
can
it's
you
like
spell that word? Can you spell rejuvenate?
Rejuvezen. 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 Rejuvezen.
Thank you.
So what we're talking about is you all becoming healthier. Because see, when we come into our 60s and 70s, we should be getting healthier. But the problem is we're not getting healthier. So what happens is we're on a bunch of medication. And then the medication got a bunch of side effects. And now we're more unhealthy. And then when we got the toxins in the environment, we're even more unhealthy. But we can be so much more healthy. So like I have some patients, they're in their 60s and 70s and 80s and 90s. 2 of my patients, they're 90. They're not on any medication. At 90 years old, they don't have any high blood pressure or pancreas, diabetes, or kidney problems. They don't have any of that. So, but they do the breathing that I've been sharing with Dr. Blessman, and they do it better than a 20-year-old. So all I'm saying is that we can be getting healthier, but we really have to be informed. We have to be informed to a greater level so that we can get healthier, because health is now, that again for you. It's REJUVAZEN. REJUVAZEN. And it's a CBD. This is a CBD. Now, you all know that we are stepping into the CBDs. You all know this, right? You all know that because we have the opiates, and 100,000 people died of the opiates last year, and they had all this investigation going on within Congress, and they had companies, salespeople that were
Hello.
Did we lose Dr. Happy?
I think we did. I think we lost.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me now?
Start all over
Can you hear
again.
me now?
Start again about the
Can
CBD.
you hear me now?
Yes.
So did you hear me spell the Rejuvazen? Did you hear me respell it? Rejuvazen?
Yes. You said it has
Okay.
CBD. That's the last thing we heard from
CBD.
you.
Okay. And what I said after that is that we are moving into the CBD research. I want you all to look at CBD like looking at another level of chemistry. It's another level of chemistry. And how many of you all are familiar with nutraceutical, the word nutraceutical?
I'm familiar with that.
How many of you are familiar with the word nutraceutical?
I am.
Well, all of you all are familiar with pharmaceutical, right?
Oh, yeah.
The
Unfortunately,
drugs,
yes.
pharmaceutical. Right. So pharmaceutical is like just straight up chemicals they mix in a lab. So what's happening is nutraceuticals, they're moving into biochemistry. They're moving into organic chemistry. And as they move into more organic chemistry, CBD is an organic compound that comes from cannabis, but they've with 300 compounds from the cannabis. These are organic compounds that are having effects upon the body's systems. And so we have to catch up with that research because these are the chemicals, the organic chemicals of the future that we have to now start becoming aware of to utilize so that we're not getting the toxicity from the pharmaceuticals that can cause great harm. That's where we are.
Dr. Happy left again.
Well, his volume dropped off.
No, it said on the top of my Zoom that
Can
Dr.
you hear me
Happy
now?
left.
Yeah, he's back now.
Can you hear me now?
We can
Can
hear
you hear
you
me?
now. Yes.
Okay, so I was saying, the last thing I was saying is that we are moving into organic chemistry. And when we talk about CBDs, we have to be thinking organic, just like we're hearing about organic fruits and vegetables. You all hear about this, right? Organic fruits and
But shouldn't
vegetables?
we already be there, Dr. Happy? All this is
No,
a
no, no, no.
refresh.
No, when I say we're moving into it, we're moving into different compounds that's coming into the public awareness, but the public is not aware. The compounds are here. The public is not aware because the
But the
public is still going
compounds
to
have
their
been here.
doctors.
But the compounds have been here but since before you and I were born, if we go back to our African and Native American heritages.
Yes, they have been, but I'm talking about now clinical research from it. See, that was my grandmother was a herbalist. So
right, but we don't really want the clinical people to get into it because you and I and all the scientists know once they get into it, it's not going to be clean and organic.
But what I'm saying is I'm dealing with companies that are on the organic side. They're not so much into the clinical side. They have made this. They've made the compounds and they've made them available. And so what we have to do is become aware of them. So when we have these meetings, I have to start sharing with you all some of the protocols that I've been using that are organic with my patients to get them healthier, So my patients are more organic. And so they're healthier. They're healthier patients.
Okay.
And they're more informed. That's why I mentioned my 90-year-olds. I have 90-year-olds who are on no medication because they're dealing with the organics.
How do some of these organics that you are talking about, I don't know if you ever looked into any of Dr. Sebi's organics. Have you ever looked into any of those?
I did.
How do they compare?
Well, here's some of the things that's happening. When he passed away, the who was dealing with the formula, I understand that the formula got compromised. I knew someone who was on his formula. That formula didn't work. He was getting the formula from a lab. It was from a company in New York. And the formula was for prostate cancer. It didn't work because they've compromised that formula. And I think some of that happened. I think that was because of the powers to be, because he was really shaking things up and people were starting to wake up. And so what happened when they arrested him in Honduras and put him in jail, the people they arrested him with was his.
Uh-oh.
Okay.
Oh, we lost him again, huh?
Yeah.
Can you hear me now?
You're
Can you hear me
digitizing.
now?
Yeah, you're here now, but you left off with
Can-
the resting part.
I left off with the.
They arrest him.
Okay, so what I said was when they arrested him, they put him in jail and they put his chemist in jail with him. And that as soon as they let the chemist out. So the chemist came into the lab, and I think they compromised the protocols because it's not working like it was working. Because this friend of mine, he was on that protocol and the protocol didn't work. He passed away. So I think they've compromised his protocols. I think that was their intent because, they make a whole lot of money off cancer. That's one of the biggest money makers there is. And he came as he was winning those lawsuits, and more people were becoming aware of him, more people started utilizing his protocols. I know some other people was utilizing his protocols that was in California. And those protocols were working. They were working then. So I don't know if the rest of them are working, but I know that protocol, I know it didn't work for my friend. I think they've compromised that. When we talk about a lot of money, we're talking about $1 trillion type of industries. And, they'll do whatever. They'll do whatever to make sure that $1 trillion keep growing.
I know.
One of the things that happened with the opiates is that one of the families that had a company that they were giving extra bonuses to salespeople to have the doctors give extra dosages of the opiates. And so more people were dying. And when they went in front of the Congress, there was a lawsuit. It was a group lawsuit, and the group lawsuit had like so many, maybe a couple of $1 billion that the family was supposed to pay in the lawsuit, and the family took the money out of the company and put it in their trust. And the government forced them to give some of that money back because all these people had died. So all I can say is we must become our own advocate. If we don't learn how to take care of ourselves and be up on the best protocols and the most natural protocols, if we don't do that, then we're endangered. My friend, he's a patient of mine. He's like you, Dr. Blessman. He runs 5,000 breaths. 5,000 breaths. He runs it in 45 minutes. He runs it in 45 minutes, and he's really healthy. He's like 80 years old now. But his wife, she was not cooperating. And so she was on high blood pressure medication. And so they changed up her medication, and she had an immediate reaction. He had to call 911. So when he called 911, they took her to the hospital and they ICU. She was in there for a whole week. The hospital bill was $150,000. He had to pay $20,000 out of his pocket. But the hospital did, and the doctor didn't take any credit for they were the one that caused the problem.
Dr. Happy, that's common. That's how my mother died and my father is dying. And my father didn't listen to me when I told him the medicines he took shut his kidneys and his body down. So I can tell all of y'all on this line right now, if you want to live, you better get off your blood pressure medicine, because that's the fastest thing to kill you. I have proof from my mother and my father.
Right.
They give you more and more medication to kill you.
Right. So the whole thing here is, what can we do to be healthier? So what is the first thing we have to do? What have I been talking about since I got with you all? What have I been talking about?
The breath.
Breathing.
Breath.
The breathing. One of the reasons the blood pressure go up is because you're not getting as much oxygen into the blood cells. So the blood pressure goes up. It's the heart working harder to push the little oxygen you're getting. So we have to increase the apparatus. The lungs is an apparatus. It's a mechanism that can increase the function of the heart. I told you all about my patient whose blood pressure was 230/130. Did I tell you all about that?
I don't remember.
Well, let me mention it again. The condition is called malignant hypertension. The reason they call it malignant is because they're not expecting you to ever get off of that medication. They're expecting you to never have the heart work properly again. So the 230/130, that was with medication. They could not get her blood pressure down any lower than that with medication. We put her into this program that Dr. Blessman is in. Guess how many breaths she runs, Dr. Blessman? 6,000. 6,000 breaths. She runs it in a matter of 45 minutes. Guess what her blood pressure is now? 110/70. Without meds. Without meds. So one of the problem is you can't get off the blood pressure medication if you're not doing the things that's going to strengthen the heart. If you're not doing the breathing that's going to strengthen the heart. So I was talking to Dr. Miller. Dr. Miller said, Doc, you got to create the app. You have to give the people the technologies. You have to show them the technology so that they can start utilizing it so their bodies can start getting better. Well, that's what we got to be working on, because everybody should be able to breathe as well as myself. And I am someone who I am supposed to be dead. I had sarcoidosis. You all remember that?
Yes.
And who else you know had sarcoidosis who died? Bernie Mac, right?
Mm-hmm.
Bernie Mac, the comedian, died at Northwestern off of two different pneumonias. Plus he got the MRSA in there. And when you go to these hospitals now, MRSA is running amok. That's why they're putting you in the gowns and the masks when you go in the rooms and stuff, because MRSA is just running around. So anyway, I don't have the problem now. I breathe super well. They were going to put me on prednisone. I'm on no prednisone. I'm on no medication. So what's the name of your group? The name of your groups are the goddesses, right? You're the goddesses?
Mm-hmm.
Are you all? I can't hear you.
Yes, Auset-Isis.
You,
That's
Most
you are
definitely.
the goddesses that's supposed to be walking with the knowledge of the past. So now we have to get up on this knowledge and we have to get up on this breath. Because let me tell you the difference between you all and them. They were into the super breath. And that's why they showed the wings, because they were saying, my breath is strong as the biggest bird with the biggest power. And that's what I'm teaching. And that's what I've been showing Dr. Blessman. And she's been on it 1,000%. So now, do you all need to be breathing as well as Dr. Blessman?
Yes.
Yeah. Do you all need to be
Yes.
breathing as well as I am, as well as I can? Yes.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
when your
Absolutely.
breath gets stronger, that's the wings that the sister showed when you saw a set with her wings extended. She's talking about the power of the breath.
Mhm.
In this one book, they talk about it. They talk about it in this one book. They talk about her being the goddess of the nostrils. And the nostrils are the two doors that the power comes through that affects the two fighters, the sympathetic and parasympathetic nervous system, and cause your body to be healthier. And so we got to know this. We have to live this. They live this. This was their schooling was all about learning how to know thyself, heal thyself, become superhuman beings, super smart, superhuman, a super extraordinary experience. This is what we're got to be growing back into. Don't get me excited.
You are excited, Dr. Hapi. Do you have any breathing techniques for us tonight? But before you do the breathing technique, if you're going to take us there, I do want to try to get a couple of the questions from the chat that our community is asking. One,
Yeah, I don't know if we're gonna have time for breathing. It's 8:23 already, so let's cover the questions.
okay, so
And that's
then,
it.
okay, Dr. Blessman, thank you. So I guess one of the questions is the price list. How do we get a price list? And I know that you made the appeal to the community to come through you, but we kind of, our business structure is a little different. So can I get with you on the setting this up? Because we still, Dr. Blessman and I, we still need to do a little bit more research on the product.
That'll be fine.
And but if the community is willing to go ahead and just purchase because they're excited about it, you can always go back to YouTube and watch the Mr. Jackson.
And then I could send you some videotapes on it too. I could send you the video on it so that they can get more information. But the thing is right now is that on the price, one of the things we were focused on is to be able to get it for the discounted price, because the machine, one of the machines he was talking about for the bigger space was $1,400, and right now we got that for $800 plus tax, so $850. We can get the people the machines and save them about $600. So
okay,
that
so
was
is
way
there
up
a
there.
price list on it though, Dr. Hapi? I mean, that all sounds good, but is there
Yeah, I can
a
get you a price list for it. I can do that.
and then are there any ad slicks, marketing slicks for the product so that people can look at it and read about it? Do you all have anything like that available?
Yeah, that's the videos I can send you. I can send you videos on it and stuff.
Okay, not just the videos. Does he have like a pamphlet, a flyer, or something?
I can send you that too.
Okay, yes, that's good. Because everyone doesn't have access to the videos, and so we want to be able to
Right.
meet the needs of people where they are.
Yeah, I can do that.
Okay, so we'll have a break next week for Thanksgiving, and then we'll come back with the seniors guide video. We're going to do that, and so by then we should be able to share the flyers with you. Because I can make a link out of a flyer. So if I
Oh,
can
good. Okay. Okay, that would be good.
Flyer, I can create
Okay, we could
out
do
of
that.
it and I can put it in the chat and everybody can open it up. If I get it before our community gathering, I can actually add it to the invitation as well. So we'll just have to get with you, Dr. Hapi, Dr. Blessman and I, like as soon as possible, so we can just kind of work out, see how this works with this company. And then let me look more. I'm looking more for any questions. Okay, and then Ms. Carol Wright, she put a link in the chat. There is some information about the company on Good Home, so if you want to check them out that way too, you can. Was that you, Eddie? Okay. Okay, so any more questions for Dr. Hapi?
I had a question. Dr. Hapi, you were mentioning a book that referenced the nostrils.
That particular book is that's a metaphysical book. That book talks about the ancestors. This comes off the hieroglyphics. This is the writing from the hieroglyphics that it talks about when we're looking at these gods and goddesses. When you look at Heheteru, she was a goddess of the nostrils.
Okay.
She studied with Heru, who was the god of the nostrils. So when you see certain symbols like them showing the wings of the falcon, they're saying that the falcon had power because the falcon had big breath. And they're saying that when we learn how to breathe through the nostrils, there are certain codes. There are certain breathing codes. There are breathing patterns. And when we activate these patterns, we're activating the mechanism in our lungs like one would activate a generator for that generator to put out more power. And when you put this power out, it's going to make your organs work better. But first of all, it's going to make your lungs work better. And when your lungs work better, it's going to make your heart work better. It's going to make your kidneys work better. It's going to make all your other organs work better, be more vital. Well, how do we know that? Because we have to look at the baby. The baby is the one who has the strongest breath. How do we know? Well, listen for the baby to cry and you will hear the strength of its breath. Because it's not the crying that we're hearing, it's the breathing under that crying that's making that baby stronger every day. And over a period of months, that baby becomes so strong that the power is oozing out of its arms and legs. And that's what enabled that baby to walk, because that breath that the baby was building when the baby was crying was strengthening all of it, the baby's systems, the nervous system, all the systems were strengthened. So that's what we have access to. We can be stronger and healthier. How do I know? Because I breathe better now than when I was 20 years old. And I can outbreathe any athlete that have been brought in front of me, no matter how good they are, and I don't run one step.
Okay. So it's a metaphysical book.
So in our next session, I'm going to show you the book. Everybody should get this book, because in this book is the secrets.
Wow.
It's the secrets that the ancestors dropped in this book.
Okay, thank you. I'll be looking forward to that.
So next session, I'm going to show the book, and I'm going to go right to the section the ancestors are talking to us, and they're telling us how they were connected to the power. They're telling us right in the book.
It's
So if
amazing.
we are the heroes, if we're the heroes and the sheroes, if we are the what did we say we're gonna be? The Rolls Royces.
Body, it changed the
Are we
roles.
still gonna be that? Are we still gonna be the Rolls
Well,
Royces?
the name of this group says it all if you know what Auset-Isis
Right.
means.
I know.
Exactly. It's a little-
That's why I got to show you the book.
Please show us the book, Dr. Hapi. I
And
can't
when's the
wait.
next time we're gonna get that book? How long is that gonna be?
I'm gonna show you the book on the screen.
Okay. And I have a question for you, if I may, Dr. Blessing and Michelle. Can I ask Dr. Hoppy a question? I got in late. I apologize. I was trying to get from one place to the next. But I have a question. When I got in, I thought I heard you talk about the allergens or allergies. It's causing people to have allergies. Is that something you're talking about with our system, like, you know, the purifiers and stuff that's causing more allergies? What is that with the allergy? Because I find that I
It's,
know a lot of young people that have allergies, they're starting to have nosebleeds frequently. Is that what
it's
can
the
we do with
person's
that?
immune system. It's the person's immune system weakening. Their immune system is weakening, and when their immune system is weakening, they get more allergic. Their sensitivity is lower, so they get more allergic reactions to the pollens in the air, to the dust, to the dust mites, to everything. That's why we're talking about the air purifier. That's what we're talking about, the chemicals that you can put into your body to strengthen your immune system. Because when that happens, you're not getting the same reactions. Let me give you an example. So how many of you all have heard of Himalayan
Sea
salt?
salt. Yeah.
Yeah, the sea
Most
salt,
of us,
the sea
yeah.
salt, the Himalayan sea salt.
Yes.
So they have a lamp. It's called the Himalayan lamp.
Right.
And you put a bulb in it. And what it emanates ions, sodium ions in the air. And when you are breathing this can help you to have less allergic reactions also. Do you all have a Himalayan lamp in your house?
I have 5 of them.
Yes, I only have one.
Know where to get them. Now, since you said it, I know where to get them.
You can get them on Amazon. You can get them at Walmart.
Amazon has them.
Walmart, Amazon, 5 and Below, everywhere has them.
Right. Yeah, Himalayan salt lamps. But the thing is, the average person don't even know that it's a therapeutic device. They just think it's glow in the dark, and that is that's what its feature is. But it's a therapeutic feature. But we don't know. This is what I'm talking about, that we must become informed so that our whole house is nothing but a protection, that everything when people come in, they're protected, that we got the most protected house of the houses. And we have to teach our families. We have to start teaching. We have to start being the example of the elders.
So, Dr. Happy, can I ask a question quickly?
Please do.
These salt rooms that are popping up all over. I mean, when I was having severe allergy problems, I was going kind of regularly, but I haven't gone in a couple of years. Are those therapeutic or beneficial?
They're very beneficial. Here in Chicago, I don't know if Dr. Blessman know of this place called King's Spa. You know this place, Dr. Blessman, called King's Spa?
I've gone.
They have a salt room right there.
Okay.
Did you go into the salt room?
I did.
Yeah, they got the salt room, the amethyst room. They got the different rooms. But we can have the salt. We can have the Himalayan salt lamp in our house.
I have 2 lamps, but I didn't know how to use them, so they're just
You just turn them on.
Okay.
You just turn the lamp on, and that's what makes it work. You don't have to do anything else.
I'll take them down.
Yeah, once it lights up, it's working. It emanates ionic sodium ions in the air.
You have it in every room?
You should have it in every room that you're going to be in the most.
Yeah,
You should have
absolutely.
it in your bedroom. You could rest better. You should have it in your living room, your dining room. You should have it in the
Your
rooms you're going to be in
office.
the most. In
Your
your
office.
office. If Dr. Blessman, when she comes here, she don't never hardly come up to the front of the office. Mainly, she come into the room in the office. But if she come up into the front of the office, where the water feature is, the lamp is right next to the water fountain, and it's on every day. And then the air, the surface machine is on, and it emanates green ions. Green ions. You see the light is green, and it emanates that. 2 cells in there. So what I'm saying is we must fortify. We must use technology. So we say, well, how long has this salt lamp, how long has it been around? It's been around a long time because it came from the Indians. The Indians used Himalayan. That's where this salt lamp came from, Himalayans, from India. And these Indians, they have certain practices that we're starting to use, like turmeric. Turmeric came more from the Indians, the Chinese, and the Thai people. This was a nutrient, herbal nutrient that helped, we're finding out now, it helps to decrease inflammation in the body and stuff like that. But they've been using it for thousands of years. So as the people in Africa. So the more we get into nature, the more we get natural, the more we get into the new technologies of the 22nd century, we will be the healthier people. I can tell you this. I can tell you this. The more we get into it, the more healthy we get, the greater we will feel. I'd be feeling so good. I cannot believe at 74 we could feel this good. On no medication. My wife, she's 78. She feels so good. I'm telling you, it's just wonderful. It's just wonderful. I think of my grandmother all the time. I say, my grandmother, she didn't know about this breath, but she knew about everything else. She knew about all these herbs. She lived to be almost 100 years old. And she was vital. She wasn't on no medication in all her years of her life. She told me I would be a doctor, but I didn't believe her. Because I had my life. I was settled. I had my life. She said, yeah, you're going to be a doctor. But when I got sick with the sarcoidosis, I put all my attention in learning how this body works and how could I restore myself from an incurable disease and live to tell about it and be able to breathe again.
Thank God for that.
And not have to be put on prednisone. Yes, definitely give God super gratitude.
That's great. Well,
Got
Dr.
one
Hapi,
question, Dr. Happy. You
No.
said about high
Yes,
blood pressure, if just doing breathing is going to help lower that blood pressure.
it does.
Even
One of
people
the
who are on like
reasons,
hormone medication, because some women take
even
hormones and
so,
echoes and all that stuff to raise the blood
but we
pressure.
have to look at everything. We have to look at everything. We can't just look at the breathing. We must look at what one is eating. We must look at that and we must dissect that so that one can understand that clinically. Clinically, that's a whole seminar. You all want that seminar? I will give you that seminar. That seminar is very exciting to understand. How did we get to that where we got the high blood pressure? Do you all want that seminar? Because we've mainly been talking about the breath. We start getting to these other seminars now. We're gonna be going in down into the rabbit hole there because now you got to really make some changes. Are you ready to make some changes to get healthy?
You got to make some changes to get healthy, Dr. Hapi. That is for sure. You got to make the change. I had an
You have to be
episode.
willing. You got to be willing. You
Yes.
got to be willing because I've had people, they healthy now. They had all kinds of health problems. Now they're healthy. They don't have the health problem. They're healthy.
Well,
And one more question. You mentioned Rejuvenating. That's supposed to help with diabetics.
Yes,
Diabetes, I'm sorry.
diabetes. Yes.
I was reading it relieves stress. It's supposed to relieve stress and anxiety, but it helps with that as well.
It does.
And for
But see,
pain, they
the
use that
thing,
for pain.
some of that too, but some of the stress is coming because your systems are overworking. Stress is coming because pain is coming because you're creating inflammation. See, the first level of the breathing is that what the breathing does is squeezes the old blood out. Infection comes in old blood because there's not enough oxygen coming into the cells. So you're squeezing the old blood out and you're bringing new blood in, and the new blood has to have enough oxygen in it. That's why I was talking about the refrigerator. I was talking about mold lives in the refrigerator because you have the stale air in there, and then you have the food that's the food is breaking down. And as it breaks down, it gets mold. And you can't even tell the mold is in the food, and you're eating molded food. And now that's causing an inflammation, infection in your body. And when that happens, your systems can't work as well. Then we have to talk about bacteria in your mouth and how the bacteria in your mouth can get down into your heart and cause pericarditis. That's a whole nother infection of the heart that can kill you from your mouth.
That's why they give you antibiotics before they work on your mouth. I mean, if you have any issues.
Yes, but even with that, a lot of times the antibiotics is not enough. And then the antibiotics destroys the friendly bacteria in your gut. And when it destroys the friendly bacteria in your gut and even in your female organs, you'll get other problems. Like you get problems so these other problems, now you need some other medication, because the antibiotics destroyed your friendly bacteria. Now you got yeast infection because the antibiotics destroy good and bad bacteria. So anytime you take an antibiotics, you should be taking some probiotics to counter it killing the good cells in your body. Do they ever talk about that?
No.
When they give you some antibiotics, I want you to take some probiotics because this is going to kill some good cells. Do they ever talk about that?
No.
When they give you some antibiotics?
Do you need to take flucloxacin with that?
You said what?
I think it's called flucloxacin. Do you need to take that with that as well to help with the yeast, or just stick with the probiotics?
The acidophilus.
Thank you. Thank you, Auntie. Thank you.
Acidophilus and acidophilus. Those are two of the major probiotics that the body needs to affect systems and keep the friendly bacteria in the gut and in your systems. So if you take the antibiotics in the daytime, you should take the probiotics at nighttime.
Dr. Hapi, real quick before we wrap it up, Nia asked about the machine that does the green ions. What could you say what it is? What it is?
That's the machine that Mike Jackson talked about.
With the green,
that's the one
green
that we
ions?
talked about for the. Yes, it's green. That's the one that he talked about that puts the ions in the air and kill the microbes, and it goes all over. It goes on the doorknobs, it goes into the cracks and crevices. It's looking for the microbes to kill the microbes in the environment because it changes the environment to a healthy environment. Okay, so that's what we have on every floor of our building now.
So Nia,
we have it on every floor.
Mm-hmm. So the video, the recording is going to be on YouTube. So go back and watch it again. We're going to get some more information about it so you can have it like on an ad slick. And then Dr. Hapi is going to make sure we get videos to talk about the product as well. I know you all are interested in it. And I am too, because it's inexpensive and it's a good tool to have.
It's a $1,400 machine that one can get for $800 right now.
Right. I don't even need that one.
That's like giving yourself a Christmas sale. What they call it in November, Black Friday, whatever you call it, Black Friday or something.
Yes,
That's a Black Friday sale right there.
it sure is.
So how
But-
much is it normally? Y'all said $800. I came in late. How much is it?
Normally it's $1,400.
Okay.
Mhm. So
That
whatever
they
you
have it on
missed,
sale for $800 now.
whatever you missed is on the YouTube. I promise. Whatever you missed, if you grab, I got him in the beginning, and so you can always go back and watch the video on YouTube. I promise you, as soon as it downloads, I am going to post it on YouTube. And with that, because it takes a while to download these videos, we need to wrap this up. So, Dr. Blessman, I'm going to go ahead and hand it over to you.
Well,
But we never have enough time. We never have enough time when we're talking. Never enough time.
as Renee shakes her head, yep, we never have enough time. We're going to wrap it up for today. But we will continue on our search and for the best. We knew that as time went on that technologies would improve, technologies would get better. So, I'm not rushing out to get a new device right this minute, but when my old devices wear out, I will keep this in mind that we have this Valero. But I think it is worth taking, a further investigation of a deeper dive, a deeper look into it.
Yes.
And I look forward to Dr. Hapi. I look forward to having you come back in December. Come back on in December. Just as a recap, and I wanted to say publicly to everybody here, I saw the final senior guide. Eddie, Michelle, Cato, Miss McNair, the community, everybody that worked on this. It is absolutely gorgeous.
We must have everybody get a copy. We must have everybody get a copy.
Thank you, Dr. Blessman. Thank you very much.
Thank you. It was a pleasure.
It's wonderful.
Hello,
yeah.
Dr. Cato.
Hey, Dr. Hapi.
Thank you for contributing to it.
Oh, it was definitely a labor of love, but we got it together. And kudos to Dr. Jones for coming up with that QR idea. Wait till you hear the narrator. I mean, it is phenomenal. And,
wonderful.
Wait.
And yeah, I'll stop.
Don't stop.
Don't stop. So we will see you all in 2 weeks, I believe, right, Michelle? We're taking off next week. And then the week after on the 27th, we'll be back?
Yes, the 28th.
Okay. On the 28th, right.
Mm-hmm.
So until then, we have a lot to be grateful for. So, not only for each other, but for our good health, for, this community, for our family and friends. Enjoy your Thanksgiving. Live, go out and thrive.
Don't eat too much. Don't eat too much.
Barbara Brock, was Barbara Brock trying to say something? I thought I saw her name, her screen pop up.
Yeah, I have wanted to ask, like the machine that's on sale now, I think it's for a 2,000 square foot area, but a lot of people live in a much smaller apartment or house than that. So a cheaper version would be $300.
Well, that's their small unit. They have another one that covers a bigger space. That covers from hundreds to 2,000 square feet altogether.
Oh, okay.
That's their small unit.
Okay, good night, everybody.
Good night, everyone.
Good night, everyone. Stay well, be blessed, and stay well.
Thank you, Dr. Hapi.
You're welcome.
Good night.
I love all of you all. I want you all to be more and more vital so that we can be true daughters of the ancient ones.
Thank you.
Happy Thanksgiving. Good night.
Thanksgiving.
Thanksgiving.